Trail maps are generally handed out the night before your ride, so this is another good reason for you to attend the rider meeting. There are often last-minute changes to the next day's course, and these will be announced at the briefing, along with a discussion of terrain, water availability, tricky turns, and so on. Do not miss this meeting. Take some time the night before to review the map and note important landmarks that you don't want to miss. You'll want to look at it for the first time in good light rather than from the back of a moving horse. You might also want to use highlighter pens to mark different loops, water stops, important turns, and the location of control checks. Arrows marking the correct direction of travel will keep you from accidentally leaving a control check going the wrong way. Carry your map in a plastic baggie, but not in the same baggie or even in the same pocket as your vet card. You'll be taking your map in and out all day long, and it's very easy to accidentally lose your vet card on the trail if it's not kept separate. Keeping your vet card in a plastic baggie will also help protect it so that it remains readable throughout the entire ride and doesn't turn into a wet soda cracker. The primary system used to mark endurance trail is a length of surveyor ribbon, which may be attached by a clothespin or tied directly to a tree or bush. Make sure that you know ahead of time what type of trail markers you'll be looking for. Keep in mind that there might be more than just one color of ribbon marking the trail, including for different distances, different loops, or different days. This will be explained at the rider meeting and is an important piece of information to write down so that you don't get confused and then go off course the next day following the wrong colored ribbon. Ribbons are spaced closer together on trails where wrong turns are easier to make, and further apart when the correct trail is your only choice. Depending on the type of terrain you're traveling through, ribbons might be hung fairly high up for visibility. However, trees and bushes aren't always available, so learn to watch for markers down near the ground as well. Ride management can and will attach ribbons to almost anything available. The universal code for marking a turn onto a new trail is 3 or more ribbons hung together. Usually after a turn, you should look for your next ribbon within a few hundred feet to confirm that you're on the correct trail. In addition to surveyor ribbon, trail markers can be in the form of pie plates, brightly colored plastic squares, cloth streamers, or printed signs. Signs are also used to indicate the distance to the next checkpoint, to the finish line, indicate a trail hazard, or an upcoming water source. Ride managers sometimes use flour, limestone, chalk, or biodegradable paint to further mark trail. Unless you're absolutely positive you're crossing the finish line, you'll be going the wrong way if you otherwise cross over a white line on the trail. Also look for arrows and other information to help point the way. Because this type of trail marking doesn't remain readable for very long, you'll help preserve it for the riders behind you if you don't let your horse walk over the top of it as you pass. A useful and often overlooked confirmation that you're going in the right direction is watching for hoof prints on the trail ahead of you. Unless you are absolutely positive that you're in the lead and therefore first horse down the trail, if the only hoof prints you see are your own, you're probably going in the wrong way. If you do find that you've gone off trail, turn around and go back to the last known ribbon to decide if you've actually made a wrong turn. It's frustrating to have to backtrack a half mile or so to your last ribbon, but it's a lot more frustrating to keep riding in the wrong direction and find out that you now need to backtrack 4 or 5 miles instead. If you only see a few hoof prints when you're expecting a lot more, ask yourself whether the riders ahead of you might also have gone off course. Just because you see horses ahead of you, don't automatically assume that they haven't also made a mistake. If you find yourself completely lost, especially after dark, and unable to confidently backtrack to known trail, stay where you are so that ride management can come and find you. Never try riding cross-country, and don't just keep wandering around trying to find the right trail. Don't panic. Just find a spot where you and your horse are easily visible and stay there until you're found. Finally, you might eventually want to consider some of the available GPS technology to provide virtually foolproof trail navigation. In addition to printed maps, More and more ride managers are providing GPS waypoints that can be used with digital U.S. Geologic Service topo maps. Prices for entry-level units are available at a reasonable cost, with the more elaborate units in the $300 to $400 range. Regardless of the type of markings used, ride management will be making every effort to provide you with a well-defined trail. Endurance riding is a fun sport, and it's a great opportunity to ride with friends through beautiful country. It's also easy to sometimes get distracted, so the best advice for staying on trail is to simply pay attention. Keep your eyes open, keep looking for your next trail marker, and have a great ride.